Hey y'all, what's up? It's Dre Under the Leaves, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my 2026 Hoya growing goals video. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna just be real. In an effort to be more intentional this year, which is my number one planty and personal goal, being more intentional, okay? In an effort to be more intentional, I really wanted to set specific Hoya goals because Hoyas, and then Anthurium, but that is what it is. Hoyas and then Anthurium were my fastest growing species in my collection. And honestly, if you took away Hoyas, Hoyas make up more than half my collection. They don't take up more than half the space, but oh no, maybe they do actually. Yeah, Hoyas are more than half my collection. So with that being said, I figured it would probably be more reasonable for me to set very intentional goals around them. And then also because they are still my favorite genus of plants, they alternate between, at this point, we alternate in between Hoyas and Anthurium. That just is what it is. And begonias. Okay, so they're one of my favorite. Let's not put too many labels on things right now. I love them. But with that said, I wanted to sit down because of the sheer amount of Hoyas that I have and make a plan for how I want to approach Hoyas in this new year. I don't have a ton of goals. I only have 5, and that's because when I had a moment to sit with how I flew down the Anthurium rabbit hole, and I bet you're like, why are you talking about Anthurium if you're supposed to be talking about Hoyas? Well, because it made me think about how I slowed down with Hoyas. A big part of that slowdown was because I was getting a lot of gratification, and I still am, when it comes from my Anthurium growing. It has been very rewarding. My Hoya growing has also been rewarding, but I realized that because I have so many of them, I didn't realize that a good chunk of my collection does need a little bit of attention, a little bit of effort, and a little bit of intentionality. Y'all know that's the key word for this year. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into what some of the goals are going to be for this year that will hopefully leave me at the end of this year feeling like I have a better grasp of and understanding of my Hoya collection. All right, goal number 1. When I first got into Hoyas, right, I had got a couple of Hoyas that were full pots, right? And one of my things that I really didn't want, that I really was putting me off a little bit about Hoyas, was the 2-leafers. And now if I look back, it's not a lot of 2-leafers per se, but there's some 2-leafers, you feel me? There's some 2-leafers back there. So I would love to, as goal 1, is to go through and identify how many 2-leafers I have. Then I would like to create a plan for them. Essentially, because I started my Hoya collection last year, I acquired all of the Hoyas that I have last year in 2025. I know that I have a bunch of 2-leafers now, and I would like to set an intention that all of these 2-leafers that I have, because I have not bought a single Hoya since summer, which means it has been 6 months, if they do not have a new leaf, not a vine, a new leaf, because Hoyas will play you. You will get vines, you trellis it, it die back, you trellis it, it die back, or you don't trellis it, it don't put out a leaf. So, you know what I mean? Like, it could get a little, and I know that somebody's going to give me some advice in the comments, and I appreciate y'all for that. However, if I'm not getting a leaf on these plants by the summer, then they gotta go. There's many ways to get up around my house, but they're gonna have to go, because I do not want to just have standing fixtures of 2-leaf Hoyas doing nothing but creating roots and then just sitting here in my collection. I want to be intentional. And the aesthetic I like the most about Hoyas is something like this, right? See how that's nice and I like that. Even where this is trying to take it right now, it's putting out 2 leaves, which is why I didn't chop it up, because I was going to chop it up, but then it said no, I'm gonna grow, so I'm letting it rock, right? But if I don't get something going with the 2-leafers by the summertime, they have to go. They really have to go. And I will be honest, I'm going to probably set aside time to do that, and maybe I'll make a separate video with the plan for each of my 2-leafers. If y'all are interested in that, let me know. Because I don't want to just say I want them to grow and then I'm going to do nothing. I am going to take stock of their care, because I don't think they're all going to be the exact same. So we'll see which ones are 2-leafers that are growing, which ones aren't growing, and we're going to make some kind of plan around that. Okay. Next, goal number 2, I would like to really crack the code on thinner leaf Hoyas. I actually realized I adore the thin leaf Hoyas. As a matter of fact, my Hoya multiflora javanica Thai splash has been growing so much since I have one. I don't know what I did actually. What did I do differently? I think it got a different kind of light, so I moved it. It's been on my shelf, and that plus the other multiflora, they have been growing beautifully. There is one single bud that is like fully budded up. It just hasn't opened on the multiflora outer variegated. And then there's on the Javanica Thai Splash, the multiflora Javanica Thai Splash, that one has a peduncle that's budded up, but I don't know if it's gonna make it. So we're gonna hold our breath a little bit on that. And then I have a Pandarata that is budding up, and I didn't get rid of my Pandarata because it has a peduncle, so I'm keeping it. I want to see what the blooms look like, and I would love to crack the code on them because I actually really do adore them. They look very nice. For example, right now, one of my favorite Hoyas to look at, it's in my prop bin, but I love looking at my Platycollis and then also my species Sumatera Island. Sensational, okay? Sensational. So I would love to crack the code on the care, whether that means adjusting the substrates, etc. So I want to be more confident in how I grow them. And I think that a part of that is also going to mean I have to restructure how my Hoyas are set up, because I do think that a lot of my thin leaf Hoyas require similar like things. And because they're placed and scattered throughout instead of organized in a way that makes sense, I can't give them all their care. So I don't know. That's one of my goals because I love them. And I think I don't want them to just be bleaching out, or you know what I mean? I want to have a good time. I'm trying to get like Lydia from Let's Talk Hoya with the thin leaf Hoyas. I'm really trying to get on that way. I'm trying to be good at that, okay? All right. Next, the third goal I have is to only bring in Hoyas from my wish list and only when I get one out. Like I said, Hoyas make up half my collection and they're so easy to over collect. That might sound, it's easy to overconsume Hoyas. Very easy, very easy, because you can literally slide them into like one little spot, especially when you're getting small pot sizes of them. You can have so many Hoyas out of nowhere, okay? Out of nowhere. So because of that, I don't want to acquire a wishlist Hoya just because it's on my wish list and I feel like I need to buy it. But if I have decluttered a Hoya, then maybe I now have space to buy one. And getting rid of a Hoya doesn't mean that I should get one either, is where I'm at. If I do find one, I'm a recondo and it doesn't spark joy, so we get rid of it. Then I do not want to just say, let me go buy another one. Also, in 2025, I feel like the cluttered look happened so fast. I have been really in a spirit of restyling and trying to figure out what to do with my collection, how to make it visually appealing to me again. Literally, like once a week, I'm in here looking around like, okay, what can I move where can I put this? What can I do? And yes, there's going to be a part of that. Like there's a part of that that's enjoyable, but a part of that is coming from how cluttered my collection got really quickly. One, because I didn't have like the proper shelving. So some of it does have to do with shelving. I did move my smaller shelves that I used to have behind me into my office and they fit in nicely. I just need to get new lights for them, and I kind of want to hold off on that for a little bit. Maybe in February I'll get some new lights, and that will also allow me to like reduce, for example, on my Hoya shelves, I'd love for them to not be so overwhelmed there as well, and be able to move some Hoyas into the office because I feel like they would do well in there. I am a little afraid to bring some of my Hoyas into my office, but we'll see. I used to have some in there. I think I would just have to also now become really intentional about pest treatment. Not that my office has pests all the time, but anytime I notice a plant with spider mites, it's typically in my office. Yeah, so I would have to like be a little bit more intentional in the office plants. My office plants are typically way more robust, and like even if they're not robust, they're bigger. And I don't know. They're easier to treat, easier to wipe down. But that said, I do want to make sure that I'm not getting back into that cluttered look. So Hoyas, if you see me buying a Hoya, please know that I already got rid of one, maybe two, and I sat with that for a little bit before I bought one. And then the next thing is I have a desire for it to be way more like, it's still in goal 3, which is like only bringing in Hoyas, because I have a desire for it to be more clean and clear in 2026. I want to end the year with like my space, even here, just coming together a lot more. I have like decoration plans. I want to put up some wallpaper to kind of make it pop. I want to make the space just pop, like stand out, but also seem intentional and pretty, and not just like very clinical and etc. All right, number 4. I kind of touched on this in my overall plenty goals video, but I just want to reiterate it. And that is that I want to propagate more intentionally. So here are the 3 reasons that I feel like I should be propagating only. A, to reset a plant because a plant is not doing well. So if I'm propagating it, I'm taking a cutting or 2. I'm getting rid of the rest of the plant. I'm not cutting the whole thing up and keeping the whole thing as props because I don't have space for that. So I'm resetting it. Then 2 is because I'm actually intentional about selling. I want to be intentional about selling plants, not as a job, but because I feel like anyone will tell you in this hobby, I want to offset the cost of having a collection. So I feel like if I get plants or Hoyas that are desirable, I would love to just propagate them. It can be easy to propagate them and either make a portion of your like spendings back, etc. And then Hoyas that I've had for a long time, it would be great to also share them. And something else that I think about a lot too with actually selling them, like a part of my desire, especially when I think about Hoyas and Anthurium and stuff like that, is the market can be so wild and the prices feel so made up. And I know people are like, you can crash the market. And some people are like, it's my livelihood, it's my bread and butter. And I understand. But I would love to make some of the Hoyas that I feel like I haven't spent any hundreds, but any of the Hoyas or plants that I have that are a little bit pricier or inaccessible to some people, I'd love to make them more accessible at costs that are reasonable. And then maybe offset the cost of me buying substrates for the month. Nothing crazy. And then finally, the only other reason I want to be propagating in this year is to isolate splash. So I guess this is technically a goal in and of itself, but I'm still keeping it under the same bucket of propagating more intentionally. But I have my Mathilde has a couple vines with like intense splash. I would love to propagate that and then create my own little basket of like high splash Mathilde. And then also my Pubicalyx splash put out an almost completely silver leaf. Now, they sell in this plant called the Pubicalyx Pink Silver Ghost or whatever, right? My Pubicalyx literally looks just like that right now. This leaf that I have, matter of fact, let me insert a picture. It is so silver. I really don't know. So I would love to see if it does that again. Like I'm going to see if it puts out another really silver set of leaves. And if it's doing that at that same like intensity, I'm going to chop at least one node of something at that intensity and see if I can propagate it. Because I feel like that would be really pretty, like on a trellis. And then I wouldn't have to buy a super splashy Hoya because I just got one from the house. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's that with propagating intentionally. And then finally, this is like I guess a theme across all of my goals, and then I guess also aligns with like my plant predictions, right? I want to get my Hoya collection down to ones that I actually adore. So a lot of my Hoya buying came at a rapid pace. So even right now, I find it hard to look at Hoyas and be like, I don't like, which ones do I not like? I'm having a hard time with that. So I think that spending the year being more intentional about growing out the 2-leafers and figuring out which ones I like. And then also, I would love to Marie Kondo. I'm going to keep saying that. I would need a check, but I need to keep looking around and figuring out if some of my Hoyas actually spark joy or if I just have them because I have them, And I'd like to get them to a place where each and every Hoya in my collection is one that I really adore and love. Because, for example, I guess I even have an example right now. Not me saying, for example, I got an example. Y'all, please, it's late. It's late. But the Pandorata that I mentioned that I kept because it has the blooms on it, I was literally considering purging it, and then I didn't. I have a Hoya Potsy that I didn't purge, that I was considering purging, and then I literally didn't. So it's like I look at them and then I find some reason to be in love with them again. And what I want to do is really sit with and allow myself to grow them long term, because a part of some of my previous purges was space constraints. But now that I feel like way more settled in my purchasing. I'm like, okay, I actually don't want to buy anymore. I don't have any room, and I have a lot of plans and goals with the ones that I have that I can spend this year getting more intentional. I also want to say this is a goal that shouldn't be a goal, but it's a goal. I literally I don't need it because we don't need anything in the plant world, but you know what I'm trying to say. I need to get that Gunungarin ghost. I need that plant in my life. And somehow by the end of this year, I would love to bring that into my home. So that's a special one. I guess I also, not me saying I have 5, I have another goal. I would also like to get to a point, this might be superly overly ambitious, but I'd like to get to a point where 50% of my Hoyas have a peduncle or have bloomed. I don't think that's an outrageous goal in year 2. Right now, I already mentioned the 3 fin leaf ones that are budding up. My platycollis is budding up inside of the prop bin. It has done that. My bellas are budding up. I got a peduncle on my Irina. I would love to get a peduncle on my Noel. I'd love to get a peduncle on my Clemenciorum. I would just love for the Hoyas that I have to start flowering for me. And that's really that. I'd like to have 50% of my Hoyas either pedunculed or flowered. Especially some of these bigger ones that I have too. I'm just like, baby, it's time. Get to it, or what's up? Like, what are we doing? And I guess that's it for the Hoya goals. So let me know what y'all are trying to do with your Hoyas. What Hoyas you trying to get? What goals you have for them? Is there any setup? Do y'all trying to bring some outside? I'm definitely not doing that. I told y'all I don't like bugs. I can't bring them in. Can't be doing that. But all that said, I will see y'all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.